I was the topper when I got in, but not the topper when I got out. So you guys can relax. Our idea of justice is to see someone get punished, someone get arrested, someone hanged, someone convicted. But sometimes justice is not to hang, not to convict someone, and not to punish someone. Because our justice delivery system, the criminal justice delivery system, not only in India but all over the world, it is not infallible. There are a lot of false cases and there are a lot of wrongful convictions. I cannot forget that day on 17th November 2012 when I was sitting beside my mother in intensive care unit where she was recovering after a surgery. It was midnight and the police has come to arrest me for a crime which I did not commit. Before coming to the hospital, the police had gone to my house where they had woken up my 75-year-old grandparents from their sleep and startled them with shocking questions like, where are the criminals? Where have you hidden them? When these guys came to the hospital, at 1:30 a.m. I was arrested in front of a dozen onlookers like a terrorist. They had come all the way from Indore to Bhopal to arrest me. And they were insistent on arresting my unconscious mother and my heart patient father as well. It was only after they saw a CCTV camera over there that they decided that they'll just carry me because I was the prime accused. I was accused of dowry harassment, section 498A of the Indian Penal Code and under section 4 and 3 of the Dowry Act. Now when I went to the police thana, Mahila Thana in Indore at around 4 a.m., what I found was there was a board hanging which said, "We care for you." What the hell? And they did care for me. They had arrested me on a weekend so that they could take care of me for 2 days, not just 1 day. What happened was, I went through a lot of trauma, but ultimately, it was a problem thrown to me and I had to fight it out like every engineer does. As an engineer, I loved solving problems and I wanted to solve this problem myself. So I decided to fight the case myself. And the decision came just after the anticipatory bail of my mother was rejected. I didn't know what had happened. It was rejected because 498A fell into the category of crime against women. It did not matter that my mother herself was a woman. It did not matter that she was lying unconscious, but her anticipatory bail was rejected. I decided to fight it myself so that I know actually what is going on in the case. For an entire year, the complainants did not appear. And finally, they did appear, but they appeared after I conducted a sting operation and showed to the court that they had been avoiding the court summons. Such a blatant abuse of law. When the investigation officer came for her statements, I did her cross-examination and I was able to prove to the court that she had copy-pasted all the statements. So she had not taken any oral statements. Effectively, what these guys had done is, as in the movie Drishyam, whoever has seen Drishyam will understand what I'm speaking about. They had made up a story and learnt it by heart, given some copy-paste statements to the police, and in barely 1 hour, they had created one frivolous complaint which took me years to fight. It took me 2 years and 4 months to win this case. Well, I shouldn't say I won this case because no falsely accused ever wins a case. He only survives. What I realized was that there are an unseen side of the justice delivery system, the side of false cases. And there are tremendous number of cases where the cases which have been registered are totally false. So I wondered whether the terms dowry and rape, the terms which bring such horrific images to our mind, have made us frame laws which were so draconian and easy to misuse, which could be used for injustice more than they could be used for justice. I started reading about laws, and I was further and further shocked to understand how difficult it is for a falsely accused to get out of these cases, because the laws have been framed such that the 100 innocents can be punished, but one guilty should not escape. The conditions in the law are, we believe the testimony of a witness even if half of it is true. We have rejected the doctrine falsus in unus, falsus in omnibus. So even if a witness is saying half truth, the rest of the truth we will use it as evidence. We do not need any documentary evidence to prove a case. An oral testimony is enough. We have shifted the burden of proof on the accused in dowry death case and rape cases. What that means is, if you look up Russell's analogy, Russell's teapot analogy on the web, it will show you that it is practically impossible to prove a negative. So people who have made the accusation are not to prove that you have done the crime. It is you who have to disprove that you have not done the crime. It's a very difficult situation. We have also given, we have made laws with such a mentality, the mob mentality, the lynch mob mentality. We do not fear and think twice before putting the photos of the accused all over the place. We do not think twice before even lynching someone who is just an accused in a case. And we have also given incentives to people to file cases. Rape victims in India are supposed to get 2 lakh rupees if they file a complaint. In a country which has a majority of population, a large number of population who's living on such a small income, less than $1 a day, if they get such a big incentive to file cases, why will they not file false cases? We have made situation so adverse for the falsely accused that there is ample scope for not just false complaints, but also wrongful accusations. Have we, or perception of justice, just to satisfy that justice has happened, have we, are we thinking that even if an innocent is punished, justice is served? We have violated Article 11 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which says that an innocent should be presumed to be, an accused should be presumed to be innocent until he is proven guilty. And not just that, we have also violated our own constitution, which guarantees the right to fair trial under Article 21 and guarantees the right to remain silent to the accused under Article 20 subsection 3. So we have made adverse conditions in the system so that wrongful convictions will also get unnoticed. There is a case in the United States. This is the person, David Ranta, who was convicted of murder, and after 22 years, he was released. And there have been several cases in the United States, total of 1,700 exonerations after convictions. So if the United States can make mistakes, the judiciary of the United States can make mistakes, why can't the judiciary of India make mistakes? I'm sure if we look carefully, there will be a lot of mistakes coming in, lot of wrongful convictions, because laws have been drafted so that that one criminal should not escape, even if 100 innocents are punished for it. There's a corresponding case in India where the person was jailed and served jail time, but for killing his wife, but the wife was alive. And all sections of the society, even the National Commission of Women, the Delhi Commission of Women, has accepted that there are a large number of false cases. But we have done nothing for that. We have done absolutely nothing for the false cases. If you look at the laws made against false cases and perjury, perjury is the crime of giving false testimony in court. UK has a law for perjury. It punishes not just perjury, it punishes even abetment of perjury, subornation of perjury with 5 years imprisonment. UK is a strong, United States has a strong law. Australia has 14 years of perjury punishment. Even countries in Africa have good laws against false testimony. Like South Africa has a law, And Nigeria also has a law which says the person should be punished with 14 years imprisonment. And this concept is not new actually. The concept is as long as ago as the Egyptians. The Egyptians had a law against false cases as long as 600 BC. The Romans recognized that giving false testimony, making a false case, subverts the fundamentals of justice. So they had a law which said that if a person has given false testimony once, that person will never be allowed to give any testimony. Number one, that person will not be allowed to be a judge. And the third, important, that person will never get the benefit of laws. In India, our constitution guarantees us the right to use laws, the protection of laws. It is up to us to use the laws responsibly. We must have a law which protects falsely accused. We must have a law to punish against false accusations. The LAMP Act is what I call it. I've proposed the act and I've put a petition online for signatures to come in, and I hope people will be convinced about the fact and join the movement. Now, when you make a new law, the first argument people come up with is, why do you need more laws? There are so many laws already, and the judiciary is overburdened. We need the law only because the judiciary is overburdened. We need to remove and weed out the false cases from the system. So far, we have talked about many things when we talk about efficiency of the judiciary. We say the judges should work overtime, they are taking long holidays. Judges are also human beings. If you look at the lower judiciary and look at the list of cases they are handling, 50, 60 cases per day. If we increase their burden further, if we increase their number of hours, they are going to collapse. We will suffer in the quality of justice, even though we may increase the number of cases disposed. We have been focusing so far only on disposal. Disposal of cases, but the entire pendency is composed of incoming cases and outgoing cases, disposed cases. We have never focused on how the cases are initiated. India is one of the easiest country to initiate a case. It takes less than $1 to file a case in India. And it takes $100,000 to defend it in court, using up all of the judiciary's resources. Now, when you have this kind of a system which is very clogged up and full of a lot of cases, what happens to the justice? The criminal does not think twice for committing a crime, because he knows that the judiciary is so overburdened, it will take him 20 years to get punishment. There was a report, India Development Foundation report 2008, which said that criminals do not fear the kind of punishment. Criminals do not care if it is 10 years or 20 years. Criminals also do not care whether the conviction rate is 20% or 30%. But what the criminals do care about is how soon will they get the punishment. And if there are a lot of clogged up cases, there will be more crime, not less crime. Similarly, for the victim, it's great injustice. He or she has to wait for 20 years to get justice from the court. The only people who are benefiting from not having this new law are the person who wants to file false cases. Because they take advantage and they use as weapons, not knives, not pistols, but they use laws as their weapons. And these are the kind of sophisticated criminals which we should be after. We have laws for the other kind of criminals, but we do not have ample laws for this kind of criminals. The existing provisions of perjury are so difficult, CRPC 340, CRPC 195, that they are very rarely resorted to. And even when resorted, the convictions are unheard of. So, now what is the kind of damage that this is doing to the society by not having such a strong legislation is brain drain of an entirely new kind. This guy, he committed suicide because he feared that a false 498 case would be filed on him. It's a very recent story. A lot of you might have heard this story. This guy is an IITian. He did his graduation, post-graduation in the US, and that's brain drain. We I started the state chapter of Save Indian Family, who's looking after victims of gender-biased laws and people who are engaged in false cases who have been roped in. And the parent organization, Save Indian Family, has a helpline number 888-498-498. We've got 50,000 calls on that. Imagine what is the pain in the country. Most interesting out of that is we have had 3,000 calls of NRIs. I myself have counseled a lot of people. The state chapter has counseled more than 7,000 people in our weekly meetings and over the phone. And what these NRIs tell us at the end of counseling is that they are never going to come back to India. They are never going to come back to India until the country learns to treat them with justice, treats them fairly. It is time for us to have a law against false cases. This is the sad reality of our country. It is time to stop this brain drain. It is time to make the system move from pro-litigation to pro-justice. It is time to tell our falsely accused that we care for you. Thank you.